Taglietta in the center ice face-off circle wins the draw as Alex Rauter scoops it back to the D, and away we go. Zone along the near side. Cross-corner dump doesn't make it all the way to the end boards as it's picked off by one of the Comet defensemen. And Vive gains the zone ahead. Harper shoots right on from below the hash marks, and Dan Bakala makes a glove save and holds on for a whistle. Really good chance on the first shift of the game for Stephen Harper.
It's an important save for Dan Bakala to make. We've seen in 2 cases this year where he's given up the first shot of the game that results in a goal, but a good save there with the glove hand snagging that one out of the air. Stephen Harper with the opportunity as the Fort Wayne Komets enter the zone with speed, move it from wide to the middle. Harper with a good shot there, but a better save by Dan Bakala.
And the Komets hold it into the line. Jenks tries to put it goalward. Zulsdorf breaks up the pass intended for Petruzzelli. Chris Martinet battling for the puck in the far corner, able to chip it off the glass. And back to the Fort Wayne line where Hutchison hops on it in the Komet zone. Puts on the brakes, turns a D, and draws a penalty. The Fuel headed to the power play. A minute and 39 seconds into the game as a hooking minor is being whistled on Marcus McIver of Fort Wayne.
Well, you love the speed and the recognition of Nick Hutchinson to leave the zone because the Indy Fuel had control in their zone on the far side, and it was Chris Martinet, the Fuel defenseman, who just said, I'm not going to try and make a fancy play. Just sends it high off the glass. Hutchinson was able to get in behind and draw that penalty. So a real simple play in the defensive zone by Martinet leads to the opportunity for Nick Hutchison. And now a power play for the Indy Fuel early in the first period.
The Fuel third in the league, 20.2% on the power play. Lee wraps it behind the net. Pellick lets it go for McNicholas along the far board. Shovels it up top to Raskop, who holds it in at the line. Thompson over to Lee. Skates in the left circle, over to the far side. One-timer score! Michael McNicholas on the C pass across from Lee. And McNicholas rips a one-timer past Lekas. And the Fuel with a power play goal lead at 1-0.
Well, how do you pick through an aggressive power play? It's by quick passes. Don't hold on to the puck long enough to where a penalty killer can come at you and try and knock the puck free. It's exactly what the Indy Fuel do here. Some great puck movement from one side of the ice to the other. And it was an outstanding, just a peach of a pass from Mike Lee back across the seam, and Michael McNicholas on the back door beats Stefanis Lekas, moving from east to west in his crease. And it looked to me like McNicholas put that one right along the ice. An ice burner beating Lekas 5-hole. Beautiful shot. The power play executed early in the game, and the Fuel have some momentum less than 3 minutes in.
A 1-0 lead. Now Seamus Malone will head to the box for 2 minutes. He is vehemently protesting the slashing penalty on him. Fort Wayne to the power play with 17:07 to go in the first.
Well, Seamus Malone, first couple shifts of the game, picks up a penalty. And I thought his first shift of the game was pretty darn good. Gotten in a one-on-one situation with a Fort Wayne defenseman. Didn't try to be too fancy. Just chipped it wide. Uses that great speed that he has to just get those legs going and try and get the legs under you when you haven't played in as long as he has, having missed over 20 games. Finds himself in the penalty box, and the Fuel will have to kill off a 2-minute penalty.
Steele Mateos takes the draw, but the Fuel win it from him and clear it all the way down. Picked off by Antoine Waken, and he'll softly send it into the Fort Wayne zone and go for a change. 1:17 to go in the Komets power play. Pirog forces it free, but it's taken back by Petruzzelli.
Well, there's the guy we talked about in the open, Nick Pirog. Equally impactful on the penalty kill as he is on the power play. Nice stick there, giving Fort Wayne some issues in their own zone breaking out.
5 to Sidlowski, right circle, looks to center, comes through for a shot from Mateos that goes wide. Back low for Sidlowski, over to Mateos with 15 seconds to go in the power play. Up top, Gazzola, now back to Mateos, walks into the left wing circle, being bothered by a couple of Fuel players, and Matthew Thompson able to clear, but as he does, he hits players on the bench, and thus the draw will, it appears, be at center ice, even though it was played out by Thompson with 6 seconds to go on Fort Wayne's power play.
Well, it definitely looked to me like that faceoff should be inside the Indy Fuel zone. It was Matt Thompson who cleared the puck into his own bench from his own zone. And the Fuel, without question, luck out here as they're going to get a neutral zone draw with 6 seconds to go on the penalty to Seamus Malone.
And the Fuel win the draw and clear it all the way down. Malone's out of the box. The Fuel are 1 for 1 on the kill. Indy leads at 1-0, 5 minutes into the game. That's the Fort Wayne line. He'll wrap it around through both corners as Pellick comes in to jar it free, comes into the high slot where the Komets are able to knock it out to center. It comes right back in. Nick Hutchison up the left side, takes it to goal, gets it past Lekas, and now a shot from below the goal line. Once, twice hits the side of the cage. Lekas still trying to find his net, but the Fuel can't take advantage, and they end up having to regroup at center.
Well, welcome back, everybody. 13:03 to go in the first period. How about that opportunity on the last shift for Nick Hutchison? A partial 2-on-1 as he and Michael Pellick were late coming out of the zone. Quick up from the Indy Fuel. It was a 2-on-1 situation. I just think Hutchison was caught indecisive. He didn't know if he wanted to pass it back door, or he didn't know if he wanted to shoot it, and by the time he made a decision, he got way too close to Stefanos Lekas. We've got some chaos going here in the background, right to the right of Dan Bakla, but an opportunity missed early on a chance for Hutchison in the Indy Fuel.
Ryan Zulsdorf and Zach Pochero ended up being the two players who mostly got involved in that post-whistle scrum, and they're each going to go for roughing with 12:56 to go in the opening period. Two teams that don't play or that play each other a lot, you're going to expect that, but it's the new guy getting involved right away.
Yeah, now you've had 2 of 3 new guys find their way to the penalty box, and Seamus Malone not new in terms of his first game with the Indy Fuel, but considering he hasn't played in a while, so I guess it's only a matter of time before Alex Rauter makes his path to the penalty box. But yeah, Zulsdorf, you like to see the aggressiveness, the energy. Has not necessarily been a point guy in his career, but he's going to be coming in to take care of his own end, move the puck, and try and do everything he can to fill in on this somewhat depleted back end for the Indy Fuel.
Head to Nick Pira. At center red, rink wide pass to an open wing, and the Fuel are offside as Indy got the touch up. And so 12:18 to go in the opening period. The Fuel leading at 1-0.
Well, Andrew, coming off of a 6-0 loss on Tuesday, today being Thursday, meaning that there is a day in between both those games. Doug Christensen and Andy Contoy decided to have a practice with their team yesterday just to try and iron out some of the kinks that they experienced in their last game, a 6-0 loss. And they weren't on the ice overly long. And you're just out there to feel the puck, get a sweat, and maybe run through some defensive zone coverage, which certainly was an issue in that last game. That led to 3 of the 6 goals for the Wheeling Nailers, and just trying to get out on the ice, making sure that you're knowing your routes and knowing your assignments in your own zone. And sometimes you'll have coaches practice days between games, sometimes not, but in that case, Doug Christensen thought it'd be more of a teaching day and certainly used it to his advantage to try and figure out some of the things that his team didn't do so well in their last game.
We're 4-on-4 for the next minute 22, so the Fuel will take it. Lee behind his own net sends it ahead for Antoine Waken. Through the neutral zone with speed across the Fort Wayne line. Right circle. Puts on the head deke, takes it to goal. Lekas able to hold the fort and then sprawls out to cover and get a whistle. With 11:57 to go in the period, 1:02 to go in the matching minors.
Well, it seems like Antoine Waken seems to have 3, 4, 5 rushes a game where he just comes barreling through the neutral zone, dropping that shoulder, taking the defenseman wide, and he just jams it at the net. And for as good as the rush was by Waken, you had Seamus Malone driving to the net, looking for any loose rebounds, and give credit to Stefanos Lekas, the Fort Wayne goaltender, for seeing it, hopping on it, and getting a defensive zone draw.
Goal line. Boca brings it back out to the right point. Along to Siebenauer. He's tied up by Teixeira along the near boards. Puck squirts free and comes out to Cotton. High slot. Tries to dangle around McNicholas. Cotton curls back again at the point. Takes it to the left circle. Cotton trying to turn to goal. Forced behind the net by McNicholas. Takes it back to the forehand. 15 seconds to go in the 4-on-4. As Teixeira and McNicholas try to jar it free. Lee sends it behind his own net, but Boca pinches down to hold it in. There's a rink-wide pass for Cotton, and he loses his footing. Sends it up through the slot. Mateos' shot is deflected wide. Cotton behind the Fuel goal. We're back to 5 aside as Zulsdorf and Pochero are out of the box. Pochero hops down the right side, sends it up top for Siebenauer. Back to Pochero, right circle. Backs it up, in behind the net for Mateos. Trying to backhand it into the slot, but it hit the back of the cage In comes out to Cotton. Good zone time here for Fort Wayne. He wraps it in. Teixeira takes it, but Pochero takes it back from him. Fort Wayne changing out man by man with the fuel stuck in their own zone. McIver shoots. Glove save made by Bakala. He holds on for a much-needed whistle with 10:23 to go in the first period.
Much needed is right, and that whole sequence started by Jason Cotton, the big 6'3" rookie for Fort Wayne, pretty much just taking that puck around the zone like a little ring around the rosy. Just had that puck on his stick like it was glued to it. And then eventually the shot from McIver, an easy save for Dan Bakala. McIver in that situation, he's not the most offensively talented guy, but just tries to send it to the net, and an easy save for Bakala. And a much-needed face-off so the Indy Fuel can get some fresh bodies on the ice. You had Michael McNicholas, who seems like he was out there for a minute 15, maybe even a minute and a half on that last shift. He was just dying for a change and eventually got one.
Komets win the draw. McIver sends it in behind the net for A.J. Jenks. Brings it across the Fuel line and backhands it in behind the Fuel net. All three guys who wear letters for Fort Wayne on this line. Petruzzelli, Sedlowski, and the captain, Jenks. Hutchison, the Indy rookie, sends it in behind the net for Pellick. Up to the left point, Chris Martinet takes it on the backhand. Cycles it back into the left corner for Pellick. He's caved in along the boards, but Indy's Waken gets the puck. Some friendly fire as Martinet shot from the left point, but it hit Waken in front, and the Komets will take the puck.
You talk about those players who are wearing the letters, veteran guys. What better players to learn from if you're a guy like Jason Cotton, who put up great numbers in his college career, a rookie with a big upside. You're on the team with those guys who have had a lot of professional experience. Must be pretty darn good to learn from those guys, not just on the ice, but off the ice as well.
Save 5 loses his helmet, so he has to go to the bench. And Indy takes advantage and sends it out to center. Teixeira across the line. Quick 2-on-1 developing. Centers for a shot that goes just wide from the low slot by Pirog. He looked to center for Cuglietta, but the pass was behind him, and Gazzola takes the puck for the Komets.
Great opportunity there for the Indy Fuel. 2-on-1, and Pirog trying to go short side, just missed the net.
Bowden's fires from the right circle, fought off by Bakala. Bowden's back on the puck. Up top, Gazzola shoots. It's deflected in front. Softly send it behind the Fort Wayne goal. Brodeur wraps it around. Shoop trying to pinch down, but Leaf able to take the puck. Shoop takes it back thanks to the help of Hutchison. Hutchison right corner, centers! Looking for Thompson, but the pass was behind him. Thompson was tied up behind the play. The Komets look for transition the other way, but as they tried to feed Matheos down the middle, it was picked off by Shoop, and then Shoop blocks the centering pass out to Pellick for Indy. Laterally, Hutchison will gain center red, backhanded in, and go for a change with 6:40 to go, and Indy leading 1-0.
Well, that line of Hutchison, Pellick, and Waken have had a couple of great chances early in this game. That last chance there, Hutchison looking for Antoine Waken at the net front. As you had said, Andrew, was just tied up and couldn't get his stick free to direct that puck on the net. But a great look there from Nick Hutchison. Seems to be skating really well in the opening 15 minutes.
Komets with the puck at center. Siebenthaler with 2 minutes and 25 seconds into the game. It was McNicholas's first goal in 6 games. His make that his 6th of the season, his 5th with the Fuel. And Mike Lee with the first assist. What a year he's having. 24 games, now 18 points, 3 goals and 5 assists on the power play. Puts him among the leaders in power play goals and points for ECHL defense.
Both guys really impactful, and for Michael McNicholas, the definition of a player who, if given more opportunity, has made good on it. You've had some trades, you've had some players get hurt and called up. He has fit into that top 6 role. He's been tremendous to this point in the season, and a big goal tonight to get the Fuel on the board early.
Fuel win the draw in their defensive zone. Fort Wayne regroups at center. Pochero trying to send it down to the point for Zulsdorf. It's picked off by the Komets and into the Fuel zone. Martinet takes the inside path to take the puck away from the charging Pochero, then blows a tire, but able to, from his knees, send it back to the Fort Wayne line. Jenks at center for the Komets, wraps it around. It rides the dasher into the far corner. Zulsdorf able to work it free to Waken, and he'll send it back into the Fort Wayne end.
Well, how about that play there by Chris Martinet? Falling down, pretty much made that play from his knee and backside after eluding the forecheck from arguably the best goal scorer on Fort Wayne and Zach Pochero. Second really good defensive play that Chris Martinet has made in this game.
Hutchison takes the puck at center. Northeastern Indiana, Blake Siebenthaler the other. There's Hawkins in the Fuel zone, shoots on goal, back below with a glove save, and he covers up for a whistle with 3:57 to go in the first period of a game. Indy leads 1-0.
Well, how confident has Dan Bakala looked in this game? From the first shot until that. The 9th shot has stopped them all, and he's looked real solid positionally in terms of his angles. And this is a guy who's had success all year, leads all goaltenders with the most wins, and certainly is that calming factor in between the painted iron for this Indy Fuel team.
It's been his net the last couple of weeks with Billy Christopoulos in the American Hockey League. Billy is back. He was assigned by the Henderson Silver Knights back to Indy today, and he is the backup goaltender this evening.
Such a great relationship between both those guys. You have the competition. Both guys want to play, but it's a respectful competition, knowing that.
Yeah, here's a loose puck in front, but Harper has it taken away. Go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, knowing that if one guy doesn't play, things aren't going to be personal. And both guys have been outstanding all year, consistently top 5 goaltenders all season. I mean, what other team in this league can say that you got 2 of the top 5 best goalies? Not many. The Indy Fuel certainly very happy to have both of these guys, and great to see Billy Christopoulos back after his stint with the Henderson Silver Knights.
And when they've both been here, they've essentially rotated starts. And so Bakula getting the net tonight, we would anticipate then that Billy Christopoulos will start on Sunday against Wheeling. But
keeps both guys from getting old or stale, and you get both guys, you keep them warm, keep the confidence going. Keeps them activated and in tune with their reactions and their playing their position.
The Fuel sent it in on Lekas. He covered, and then Indy with a shot right off the draw. Lekas covers again, but following that as well, you've got a light spot in the schedule here these last couple of weeks, but it's going to start getting really busy starting next week. Obviously, the Sunday game against Wheeling, then Wednesday they go to Wichita, and then it's 3 games in Kansas City next weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So another one of those 4-in-5s coming up for the Fuel next week as the Komets ice the puck from their own zone. 3:32 to go. Fuel lead at 1-0.
And it's no stranger. The Indy Fuel are no stranger to playing those 4-5, 3-3. But when you know you got both these goaltenders who are going to be there to backstop you and give you a chance to win every night, that's all you can ask of them. And we've seen a couple goaltenders here this year. Think of Sean Bonner, Tom Abrun, but you got both these guys heavily liked on the ice and in the dressing room.
Fuel win the draw. Lee sends it just wide from the center point, and the Komets intercept a pass meant for Teixeira, but he was born here. And he headmans to Alex Rauter, one-on-one across the Fort Wayne line. Shoots, blocked into the corner by McIver. Rauter puts one back on goal from a sharp angle, and Lekas makes the save. Rauter in on the forecheck, forces it free again, and that allows Thompson to take the puck along the left wing boards. He fires high. Raskop hops on the puck, right corner. Sharp angle shot. Lekas holds the near post, makes the save, and covers up for a whistle. Good flurry here for the Fuel, and this line of Cuglietta, Thompson, and Rauter. And it all started with Alex Rauter's forecheck.
His shot originally was blocked by Fort Wayne's defenseman, then followed up, and I love the idea. Just fling that puck back towards the net, and all of a sudden Matthew Thompson with a glorious opportunity right between both hash marks in the high slot area. You had about 2+1 at the net front, and I'm not sure Stefanos Lekas ever even saw that puck go wide on the short side, and there certainly was room there for Matthew Thompson, but he just missed it wide. If he's able to get that one on target, probably find its way to the back of the net, because Lekas had no clue.
The Fuel lead at 1-0. Our first intermission guest will be Matt Tompkins. He met with the media in Rockford after his stint with the Chicago Blackhawks on the taxi squad, the former Fuel goaltender. And we'll hear from him during our first intermission. Matt's a great guy, always good to hear from him. And he is getting the start tonight for the Ice Hogs against the Grand Rapids Griffins up in the American Hockey League.
Always great to see former Fuel players getting an opportunity at the next level, and for him to earn a spot on the taxi squad at one point, great for him, and proves and shows to all of these guys that, hey, if you keep working, you keep developing, you are going to get a chance at the next level.
Puck brought into the Fort Wayne zone by Seamus Malone, but there were a couple of players tied up across the line, so offside. Marcinu's pass finds Raskop at the right point. He wrists one goalward, but it's blocked in front by the Komets. Comes back up to Raskop, walks the line, shoots a wrister wide of the left post. Comes up to Shoup, left point. Over to Marcinu along the left wing boards, fires, save made. Pirog fired the rebound back on, but Lekka's able to ward that one wide as well. Marcineau up to the right point. Raskob looking for Malone in the high slot, but he deflected it wide. Final minute of the first period. As Nick Boca for Fort Wayne lobs it back to the fuel line where Router takes it, and he'll fire it back into the Fort Wayne end.
Best shift of the game for that line. Plenty of offensive zone time. Couple chances for Seamus Malone, who I think has looked really, really strong in his first game back.
Teixeira over to the far side. Rink-wide pass, high and wide from the point. Cuglietta to Thompson, left corner. He'll bring it up along the wall. Peel to the top of the circle, and it's poked off of his stick back out to neutral ice.
Yeah, it was A.J. Jenks, the Fort Wayne captain, with a good active stick on Matthew Thompson, trying to hold on that puck and make a play.
Quick re-entry. Cuglietta, backdoor feed to Thompson, who had an open side, but the pass was behind him. Cuglietta tries a turnaround shot. It's blocked. Up to the point, Lee. Over to the far side, Thompson can't get the shot off before the buzzer. And the first 20 minutes are in the books here at the Indiana Farmers Coliseum. Michael McNicholas, power play goal at the 2:25 mark, has given the Indy Fuel a 1-0 lead. Shots on goal, 9-7 in favor of Fort Wayne. Second period action getting set to begin at the Indiana Farmers Coliseum. For Malone, he'll send it across for Ryan Zulsdorf. Rink-wide pass off the boards taken by Malone up the right wing side in the Fort Wayne end. Ducks the shoulder, takes it to goal. Lekka's able to fight it off, and the Komets find the puck. And they've got numbers the other way. Indy hustling back. Jenks beats his man, gets to the left wing circle, but a good play coming across by Zulsdorf, pokes the puck free. Puck in along the near board. Zulsdorf able to work it free behind his own net, looking for Martinet. Fuel net. Over to the far side, some extended zone time after the turnover at the line. Pirog tried to backhand it out of the zone, but look out on the Fort Wayne bench as he backhanded it into the opposing bench instead. They're going to say, are they going to say that it went over? They did. They're going to call this a delay of game. And so Pirog's going to sit for a delay of game, and the Fuel are going to be shorthanded.
Yeah, Nick Pirog just trying to send that puck off the glass. Got a little bit too much under it. Pulled the pitching wedge as opposed to 3-iron out of the bag, and all of a sudden now the Fuel are going to have to kill off a penalty early in the second, but a real positive shift before that defensive zone time. You had Seamus Malone, doesn't look like he's missed a beat. Took the puck right to the net, forced Lekkas to make a save, and then a great job by the new defenseman for the Fuel, Ryan Zulsdorf, coming across, shutting off a play on A.J. Jenks. So positive shift there, and now the penalty kill is going to have to go to work.
Komets win the draw. Gazzola's shot up top for Gazzola at the right point, over to Pochero at the half wall, back up for Gazzola. He shoots, deflected over the net. Hawkins puts it right back out in front for Jenks, all alone at the top of the crease, and he scores, and this game is tied at 1. As the delay of game penalty on Pirog ends up costing the Fuel, as Fort Wayne wins a puck below the goal line, and A.J. Jenks all alone at the top of the crease cashes in.
Well, the initial shot just takes the perfect bounce off the backboards for Fort Wayne. Some movement around the zone. They're going to send that puck towards the net, and then all of a sudden a quick bang-bang play. Low to the slot. And the captain finds the back of the net in front, unmarked. As both Fuel defensemen had vacated the net front to try and get to that loose puck, leaving Jenks wide open. And we got a 1-1 game. Both teams with power play goals.
Turn it over at the blue line. Fort Wayne with some extended zone time, and it ends up in a power play and eventually a goal. And it seems like those are the ones, they always seem to end up in the back of the net. You know, when you turn the puck over at your own line and give up extended zone time, that time just tends to mount, the legs get heavier, and you try to make a play, and whatever the case, it almost always ends up in the back of the net, and that seemed to be the case again here.
It's funny how the hockey gods work sometimes. When you get tired, when the legs start to go, Andrew, the brain goes. And you start to make plays that you wouldn't normally make if you had some more gas in the tank. And you're right, an extended shift for all the way from the offensive zone. They had to come back. They spent 20, 30, 40 seconds in their own end. And when you get tired, the legs get tired, the hands get tired, and then the brain just goes to mush. And you're very prone to making errors, which leads to a penalty and a goal against.
And so each team with a power play goal. Fuel send the puck into the Fort Wayne zone as we're back to action, and holds on for a whistle with 16:44 to go. Second period, we're tied at 1. A.J. Jenks on the power play ties it for Fort Wayne at 2:21 of the period. Brandon Hawkins and Randy Gazzola with the assists. Jenks just his second goal of the season, but also his second in 3 games.
And I should say that penalty by Nick Pirog, not like it's a lazy or bad penalty. You know what he's trying to do? Just trying to send that puck off the glass to relieve the pressure because the Fuel had spent so much time in their own zone. So I love the intention. Sometimes you just get a little bit too much air under the puck and airmail it into the crowd.
Alex Rauter at center as the Fuel won the defensive zone draw, sends it back to Shoup. Boca and Thompson and Brodeur are also in there. Finally squirts free, hits the bottom of the strings and over into the far corner where Jackson Leaf takes it for Fort Wayne and is able to work it past Cuglietta out to center. Diego quickly ahead to Thompson, back to Cuglietta along the goal line. Forced behind the net, a good diving poke check made. Cuglietta stays on the puck, tries to send it goalward, but Stefanos Lekas, the Fort Wayne goaltender, able to reach out, stop the puck from being centered, and then cover it up.
Well, you talk about doing your work early, coming back on the back check. If you can turn off the rush sooner at the blue line or before the red line, you're going to catch the opposition, in this case Fort Wayne, trying to commit too many bodies up north, up the ice. And Diego Cuglietta, first opportunity, stayed into it, was able to create that turnover, and a heck of a diving play there by the Fort Wayne defenseman who just came sprawling across. But I love that early effort from Diego Cuglietta, not waiting to back check. He was on it right away, forced a turnover, and the Fuel get an opportunity.
Marcineau wins the draw back to Pirog, who fires, and a blocker save made by Lekas, and the Komets able to play the rebound out to neutral ice. Martinet backhands it in. Gazzola will settle it down, play it off the boards for Vive. It's knocked down by Martinet back into the Fort Wayne zone. Indy couldn't touch it because they had to clear. Rink-wide pass picked off by the Fuel. Headman to Marcineau across the line. Drops it for Malone. Right circle. Dangles around to D. Takes it to goal. It's loose in the crease. Lekas dives, able to find it with Fuel players trying to find the puck. And looks like Zach Pochero was trying to come back as well and ended up diving and sprawling somewhat awkwardly. And he is a little bit slow to get up. Chris Martinet also looks like he was shaken up a little bit on the play, but he is skating back toward the bench.
Deja vu to a chance earlier for Seamus Malone. I mean, he loves coming down that right wing, dropping the shoulder, taking the puck hard to the net. And you could see takes a stick up in the face area as he goes to make sure he's still got all of his pearly whites. But that whole play started. That whole odd man rush was able to be had by a great pickoff in the neutral zone by Ryan Zulsdorf, the new Indy Fuel defenseman. Made a great read. Fort Wayne was looking to stretch the ice, was able to intercept that puck, turn it the other way, and then the opportunity for Seamus Malone. So Zulsdorf's been really impressive in the first 25 minutes of this game and seems to be fitting in extremely well with a great play there.
Antoine Awaken tries to win the draw. Hutchison couldn't dig it free. Gallipo sends it up to the point, held in by Teixeira. He sends one goalward. It goes to Fuel corner, the left wing corner by Mateus. He has it high slot, turns around, drops it for Siebenaller. Goes back to the right point, but it's forced out to neutral ice by Hutchison. And Hutchison and Pelech both take their man. That allows the Fuel to get to the puck. Rink-wide pass into the zone. Teixeira shoots from a sharp angle, fought off by Lekas. And Teixeira staying on the puck. And we have a whistle behind the play, and we're going to have penalties. As Sean Sadlowski and Nick Hutchison were exchanging blows behind the play, and our referee Kyle LeCun let it go long enough. And the two were in front of their respective benches and wouldn't let each other go for changes. So for the second time in this game, we have matching roughing minors with 14:28 to go in the second period. Sadlowski and Hutchison.
Yeah, Sadlowski, the veteran, played a lot of games in this league, coming up and sticking up for his teammate, playing his first game as a Fort Wayne Komet, Stelio Mateos. And you got to love to see that from a leadership standpoint. Nick Hutchison just doing what you got to do in that situation. You got a guy who's trying to get rid of the puck, make physical contact, and both guys will head to the box. And that came off the heels of a great defensive zone shift for Nick Hutchison. It was his poke check that was able to get that puck out of the zone for the Indy Fuel and turn the puck going the other way for an offensive chance.
Makes the save on Brodeur. Puck chipped along the boards up to the point for Hawkins. And Cuglietta comes in and picks it off. Rink-wide pass for Thompson at his own line. He'll send it back to the D as Willie Raskov will wind it up from behind his own net.
Intelligent play there by Matthew Thompson. Realized that 3 of his teammates were going for a change. Just put the puck back, able to keep possession. And the Fuel then could get some fresh bodies on the ice.
Malone takes it into the left wing corner in the Fort Wayne end, but loses the puck. Matthew Bowden's the other way, ahead for Jason Cotton. He's forced right side, but the puck hopped over his stick. Marcineau tracks it down along the far boards, looks for Pirog, but Jenks able to dig it free. Jenks has the Fort Wayne goal. McNicholas has Indy's goal. We're tied at 1. As Cotton brings it up to center, but Pirog pokes him. Pass ahead for Marcineau doesn't connect, and icing is called on Indy. We're back to 5 aside as Hutchison and Sidlowski are out of the box after serving their roughing minors.
Well, great back check there by Nick Pirog, and it's something that we talked about in his game, an underrated part of his game. Yes, he's the leading goal scorer in the entire league, but a good little back check there to regain some possession for Indy Fuel. Then they eventually missed on the long stretch pass, as we got to look there on the slick stick handling of Michael McNicholas trying to get around Olivier Gallipeau. He was able to do so and then had the puck beside the net, was trying to desperately look for Seamus Malone in front. Just like to see McNicholas just jam that puck at the net. Look for the wraparound play, and at least you force the goaltender to have to make a save, because it looked like Malone, the open player in front, or at least the player in front, was well covered by 2 Fort Wayne defensemen at the net front.
Comets control off the draw in their offensive zone. And it's raked free from Hutchison, loose in the slot. Turnaround shot by Vive. And Backel is able to make the save. Wayne. Jenks has the puck as we're back to action at center. Wraps it in to the Fuel zone, where it's settled down by Willie Raskop. Tries to go D-to-D to Shoop. The pass isn't clean, so Shoop goes behind his own net, back to Raskop. Number 4 and 44, the D pairing. As the Fuel send it in, Wake tries to beat a man to go to goal, but Lackas able to stick it free. And the puck is sent out of play by Fort Wayne, but deflected out, and so no penalty. And the Fuel with an offensive zone draw. Good hustle here by Antoine Waken.
Yeah, and as good as the hustle was, how about the pickup of the puck? Right off of his skate, that puck was just rifled into his skates. The pass from Willie Raskop, as you had Waken coming to the neutral zone with a full head of steam. And be able to play that puck with his skate. Never really got good control of it, but at least was able to direct it into an area where he was skating into. And then Lekis with the clearance, but it did get deflected out of play. No penalty on the play.
Fuel on the draw. Tim Shoop sends it along the left wing side. Up top for Matthew Thompson from the right circle. Save made by Backlund. Mateos keeps it alive. One of 2 Carolina Hurricanes contracted players in the Fort Wayne lineup tonight. He and Jason Cotton. The Fuel will take it away and send it in behind the Fort Wayne net.
And a guy who the Fuel have done a nice job of keeping him suppressed in this game. Over 253 games played in his junior career, over a point-a-game player.
Here's Malone forcing a turnover in the Fort Wayne zone, taking it to goal. Sharp angle shot is saved. The Fuel stay on the puck. Lee fires wide from the right point. He knew where it was. And Fort Wayne settles it down at center. Quick re-entry. Vive backhands it in behind the net. Willie Raskop takes it. Heavy forecheck for Fort Wayne. Forces it free, and they take the puck. Brodeur at the point. Shoots wide, and the puck deflected over the net. Cuglietta chips it off the glass, and not out. Held in at the point by Bowden's hustling back. Brodeur walking the line. Takes the slap shot on goal, and Backlund squeezes the knees to get a whistle. 7:15 to go in the second period of a game that's tied at 1.
3 or 4 opportunities there for Indy to clear that puck, and they don't. No harm, no foul, as Brodeur's shot ends up right in the stomach of Dan Bacala. But the original turnover from Tim Shoop, as he was going back to get the puck, he was pressured, turned it over originally, then another opportunity to clear it. Diego Cuglietta couldn't. And then all of a sudden, Fort Wayne with some constant pressure in the offensive zone. The Fuel luck out by Brodeur's shot. A pretty easy save for Dan Bacala, but as we've talked about all season long, Andrew, when you don't get the puck out when you have to, more times than not, the pucks can end up in the back of your net, but when you got goaltenders like the Fuel have, they're going to be able to bail you out.
Fuel win the defensive zone draw. Pirog tries to self-pass into the Fort Wayne, and the Comets able to clear it out across the line, and then Marcineau brings it back in. So Indy guilty of offside with 7:06 to go in the second period.
Well, Andrew, seeing Seamus Malone out on the ice, I mean, I've been really impressed with him tonight, and it's the adrenaline, your first game back. You want to get those feet moving. You want to try and contribute offensively, but I think he's done a lot of real good work away from the puck. He's had a couple good rushes as well, but now this is when the conditioning and the cardio and the legs, you start to feel it. You're playing on adrenaline for the first period, the first half of the second. Then, towards the end of the second and into the third period, you really start to feel it because you haven't played in a long time. And it doesn't matter how much skating and practice or working out in the workout room that you do, nothing can replicate game action. So I've been really impressed with him, and hopefully he can keep it going the rest of the 25-plus minutes in this hockey game.
Malone, native of Naperville, Illinois, former Wisconsin Badger, playing his first game after missing the last 22. Hands it to the aforementioned Malone. He'll take it behind his own goal to Mike Lee. He's got some time and space, so he'll skate it up. Headman, stretch pass to Pirog at the Fort Wayne line. Tried to backhand it to Marcineau in the slot, but Siebenauer comes back and takes the puck.
What a great pass there by Mike Lee. The vision is incredible. Think about the assist he had earlier on the McNicholas goal. Great vision and an opportunity there.
Komets 3-on-2 across the line. Mateo shoots wide of the left post. Pellick tries to chop it out of the zone, but can't get it through the pinching Gazzola along the far boards. And on second effort again, held in by the Komets. Zulsdorf backhands it to Lee behind his own net. Headman's through center looking for Hutchison on the stretch pass, but it's broken up by Marcus McIver, and from his knees, McIver will play it into the Fuel end.
He was almost able to do it there again, but a nice play with the glove by McIver to deny the opportunity for Hutchison trying to get in behind on the long pass from Lee.
Waken with a good pass ahead to Pellick, who brings it into the Fort Wayne zone in the right wing corner. Hutchison behind the net, 5 through center. 5, the second generation player. Tried to feed it into the Fuel zone. Tim Shoup took the puck away. It's loose. Shoup can't get it out. Here's Harper, left circle. Being bothered by Raskop, but coming in to take the puck is Jason Cotton. High slot, shoots through traffic, and Backley able to find it and make a save and hold on. But again, a turnover when you've got full possession in your own zone. This aggressive forecheck for Fort Wayne is causing some problems for this Fuel defense.
Yeah, and in that case there was Tim Shoup again with the turnover, his second one in the last 4 or 5 minutes, and just kind of playing at the end of his reach, not overly in control of the puck, and realized that he had a couple Fort Wayne players coming at him and just kind of bailed on the puck. And usually a guy who takes a lot of pride in being under control, making good plays exiting out of the zone, but you don't get it out. You turn it over and you give Fort Wayne a chance. And Cotton with that last long shot with some Fort Wayne Komets looming at the net front. Again, forcing Dan Backley to have to make a save. And if you keep turning the puck over, you keep putting pressure on your goaltender, eventually things are going to get really tough no matter how good your goalie is.
Cuglietta through center, ahead to Tim Shoup across the Fort Wayne line. Sends it softly in behind the net, looking for Router. It's played past him, but Shoup activates to keep it in. But the Komets take it back, and Jenks bunts it out to center. Tim Shoup, soft pass forward, then hops on it himself. Tried to bring it into the zone. He hit a leg and kicked out to neutral ice, where it's corralled by Alex Router and sent back in behind the Fort Wayne net. McIver's pass ends up going off the glass and out to center. Lee couldn't hold it in at the point, and so the Fuel will settle it down in their own zone, and Matthew Thompson collects.
That was a nice aggressive play right before the change for Tim Shoup, just to jump up, keep the play alive, and keep the Fuel in possession. A real good play there by Tim Shoup, aggressively playing on his toes.
A.J. Jenks wraps it in through both corners, and the Fuel in looking for Hawkins. Further up along the wall looking for Boca, but it was taken away by Alex Router. He tried to shovel it through neutral ice, but he hit somebody on the Fort Wayne bench, so we'll have a face-off. Fuel win the draw at center. Malone sends it in, and Brodeur takes it behind his own net for Fort Wayne. Pirog comes in to force the puck free. Boca turns it over to Malone. Now to Marcineau. Left circle, shoots, save made, rebound, put just wide by Malone. And now we have a whistle and a penalty on the Komets. A slashing minor coming, and the Fuel headed to their second power play of the night as Brandon Hawkins heads to the box for slashing.
Well, Nick Pirog with a nice play on Matthew Brodeur. Just forces the turnover. Brodeur sends it up the wall. Then you've got Seamus Malone in the area to help shut off that play along the boards. You had Matt Marcineau in the area putting pressure on as well, and then the eventual shot coming from Matt Marcineau and the penalty for Fort Wayne. So you get a great scoring opportunity. You draw a penalty, all because you're playing hard, being physical, and taking away the options for Fort Wayne trying to break out of their own zone.
Marcineau wins the draw back to Pirog. Up top for Teixeira. Over to the left circle, Cuglietta back up to Keone. Now to Pirog. Right circle, shoots. Glove save. Lekas, who saw it all the way. Router trying to offer a screen in front, but was unable to take away the eyes of the goaltender. And Lekas holds on for a whistle. 1:13 to go on the power play, 1:26 the period of a game that's tied 1-1.
Yeah, the Fuel's power play has been really good in this game, but it's not just the looks that they're getting, including that good shot there from Nick Pirog, who's got 5 power play goals this season. But they've just been more intense with the puck and with how aggressive Fort Wayne plays. And don't forget, 2 games ago since you last played these guys, they scored 3 shorthanded goals against you. And it just comes to trying to outwork the penalty kill, even though you have a player in advantage. You want to make sure that you're matching and exceeding the intensity, considering you do have an extra player out on the ice.
Pass through the slot, picked off by Fort Wayne, sent back into the Fuel zone. Cotton in the right wing corner behind the net. McNicholas comes in to dig it free and does. Right back into the Fuel end. 10 seconds to go on the power play as Mike Lee takes it along the far boards in his own zone. Ahead to Waken. Across the Fort Wayne line with speed. High slot, drops it for Malone. Dangles down the slot. He's tripped up. And just as one power play ends, another one will begin. Hawkins is released from the box. And now Malone and Boca are having words after the whistle. I'm sure that Boca would like to goad Malone into a penalty, even this up. Now Antoine Waken comes over to chat with Boca and Malone as well. And now all sorts of players are having some discussions, and Waken and Jenks are arm in arm, still talking. The linesmen try to separate them. Justin Vive will be ushered to the penalty box. He had the original penalty, and it looks like that's going to be the only penalty out of this little fracas.
Well, Hall active have 9 and 19 been for the Indy Fuel tonight. Antoine Waken and Seamus Malone. I mean, you had Waken coming through the neutral zone again, similar to a chance he had earlier in this period. Just coming through full speed. What does that do when you come through with full speed? Is it pushes back the defenseman. So that way, when you get that second wave of options and offense coming, they've got more room to navigate in the high slot area, which is exactly what happened for Seamus Malone. And then Vive forced to take a penalty because Malone was in a great goal-scoring opportunity. So great speed initially from Waken. And Seamus Malone in a heck of a spot draws a penalty in a late power play for Indy.
Vive for tripping. 12 seconds to go in the period. Pirog has it off the draw. The Fuel will have a minute 48 of carryover power play time when we begin the third, as Justin Vive is in the box for tripping. And make that slashing was the call. And so it's going to be an opportunity for Indy to take a lead here early in the third period as the Fuel with a fresh sheet of ice. Along with Nick Olczyk, I'm Andrew Smith. And we're going to see Alex Router, Diego Cuglietta, Nick Pirog, Keone Teixeira, and Matt Marcineau, the power play unit to start the third. You go out with your big guns right away.
You've got a cornucopia of options on this power play unit. Each guy more than capable of scoring, and makes it really tough to defend as a penalty killer because you just don't know who's going to shoot it, who's going to pass it. The Indy Fuel, a real luxury to have as many guys that are capable of creating and scoring and making plays to set up some goals. We'll see what they can do here early on a power play in the third period.
Fuel gain the zone. Cuglietta is tied up by Anthony Petrozelli, who chips the puck out to center. A.J. Jenks will fire one over the net, loosen the slot, and Teixeira tracks it down. Jenks giving him a little bit of a bother as that shot from center was over the goal and came back into the crease after hitting the back glass.
Yeah, he got all of that. It was a cannon off of his stick and then gets away with a penalty, a high stick it looked like on Keone Teixeira. Looked like a little cross-check in the mouth, but he gets away with it.
Puck up to the point for Teixeira as the Fuel have gained the Fort Wayne zone to Pirog. Right circle, skates in, shoots, blocked, comes back to Pirog in the right circle. To center, pass a little too far out in front of Jason Cotton, and Raskop sends it back into the Fort Wayne zone. Pellick up along the left wing boards into the corner for Waken. He takes a hit, and that allows the Komets' Harper to get the puck. And they were looking for the stretch pass as Pochero was 30 feet behind a Fuel player, but Indy was fortunately able to intercept.
And you could hear the bench screaming and yelling at both Zulsdorf and Chris Martin, letting them know that there was a player in behind, which was Pochero. So great recognition there to deny Pochero of a possible breakaway.
Rink-wide pass, looking for Pochero through center, doesn't connect, and the Komets are going to be guilty of icing the puck. 3:04 gone in the third period of a game tied at 1.
Well, that was a heck of a power play for the Indy Fuel, pretty much spending the opening 3.5, 4 minutes in Fort Wayne's end. A couple really good looks off of some failed clearances by Fort Wayne, and it's something that we talked about in that second period for the Indy Fuel. You don't get the puck out of your own zone. A lot of times it's going to end up in past your goal line in the back of your net. And unfortunately for Fuel, unable to capitalize on some of those chances, but some good looks on that power play for Indy.
Fuel win the draw. Malone shoots wide from the right point, comes up to Teixeira, left point, shoots, caught by Lekes as he had to look through all kinds of traffic in front. But the rookie from Vermont able to make the save.
And it was just a little floater from the point for Keone Teixeira. He's not trying to score with that shot. He's just trying to float it onto the net. The most important thing there, just to get it through. And he finds the lane, and you got Alex Rauter standing right out front. You had a high tip option as well. Stefanos Lekes able to snag it with the glove as it stings the palm and makes the save.
Matthew Thompson to take the draw, wins it cleanly to Rauter, over to the far side. Lee's one-timer on goal, and a stick save made by Lekes. Lee has it at the right point, but the puck hopped over his stick. He's going to track it down in his own zone with Petrozelli in on the forecheck.
Well, you talk about a set play off the faceoff. You win it, Rauter. Cross-seam play to Lee for the one-timer.
And now here's a shot from the far side by Marcineau, and Lekes with a positional save. Comes up to the point for Lee. He shoots deflected wide. Thompson has it in the left wing corner. He loses the puck, but it's taken back by Indy. Thompson left circle. High slot. Rauter fanned on the shot. Just as he pulled the trigger, the puck hopped off of his stick, and now here come the Komets as Mateos gains the line. He shoots back. Only got a glove on it on the shot from the circle. And Indy sends it back out through center. And this will have just enough steam for icing.
Well, Mateos, who was the one that eventually took that shot for Fort Wayne on that rush, I think he was the one who maybe just put Rauter under a little bit of pressure, had his stick fully extended. And I think that kind of forced Rauter to overhandle the puck. Couldn't really see from our vantage point if Mateos was able to actually get a stick on it, but certainly had an impact on the whiff shot from Rauter, and then comes all the way the other way and lets the shot go that Backel was able to get a piece of with the glove.
Marcineau against Jinx on the draw in the Fuel's defensive zone. And Marcineau wins it back to Tim Shoup. He'll skate it along the near boards. Send it to the Fort Wayne line where it's jarred free by Pirog into the right wing corner. Pirog takes a bump from Gallipo but stays on the puck. Marcineau up top for Shoup. Back along the left wing boards for Marcineau in along the circle. Up top Shoup over to the right point. Raskop wrists one goalward wide. Puck caroms off the bottom of the net. And Brandon Hawkins outlets, but picked off by Marcineau briefly. McNicholas couldn't hold it in at the line, so the Fuel will regroup back in their own zone. Tim Shoup with Hawkins in aggressively, forechecking. Outlets to Raskop, rink wide to McNicholas through center. Cross corner dump into the right wing corner. Pellick hunting the puck. It is able to take it, send it up top to Zulsdorf. He shoots, and Lekes makes the save, and the rebound tumbles to A.J. Jenks, who skates it out of danger.
Second big turnover on that shift. First, it was Nick Pirog putting Gallipo under pressure. Then on that time, Michael Pellick hard in on the forecheck, forces the turnover there as well. Just goes to show if you put that guy, Olivier Gallipo, under pressure, very prone to turning it over and giving you some scoring opportunities.
Fuel play it out to center. Antoine Waked tries to rake it free, and it comes now to Hutchison. At center, looks to split the D, able to work it free out to neutral ice, but Boca will race it back into the Fuel zone. The defenseman in below the goal line into the right wing corner. Zulsdorf able to kick it free to Cuglietta for Indy. Chips it up to the line and out as Matthew Thompson finds it at center and feeds it to the Fort Wayne line. Rauter quick 2-on-1 with Cuglietta. He shoots. Lekes with the save. Rebound comes out to Cuglietta. Feeds Thompson up high. He wrists it wide to Rauter in the right wing corner. Looks to center for Cuglietta, but Brodeur able to tie him up and take the puck away.
Well, a great opportunity there. Rauter to Diego Cuglietta. I think the pass was just behind him, so at the last second, Cuglietta had to readjust his stance and didn't get a fully velocity-filled shot away, but a good look on the 2-on-1 opportunity.
Teixeira sends it into the Fort Wayne zone, but his dump in is picked off by Marcus McIver of the Komets and sent into the Fuel zone. Icing is going to be whistled, however, as McIver's dump in came from the wrong side of the red line. So, offensive zone draw coming for Indy with 13:32 to go in the third period of a 1-1 hockey game.
It's a play like that, Andrew, where That's why passing is so underrated in the game of hockey, where it could just be an inch off, an inch in front, an inch behind. And if it's in his wheelhouse, if it's right in the middle of his stance, now some players like it on their front foot, some like it on their back, but if it's just a little bit off, a great scoring opportunity turns into nothing. And yes, Cuglietta was able to get a shot on net and force Lekas to make a save, but such an important part, and in my mind, a real overlooked part of the game, especially in youth hockey nowadays. Everybody's so worried about trying to score, which, yes, you want to score, but in a lot of cases, if you don't make good passes, you're not going to give yourself an opportunity to score.
Fort Wayne able to control off their defensive zone draw. Pochero with a self-pass into the right wing corner. Gets to it along the goal line. Puts on over to the far side of Brandon Hawkins off the bench. He shoots, and Backlund catches it and holds on for a whistle with 11:52 to go in the third.
Well, Flow Hockey content is available on your mobile phone with the Flow Sports app for iOS and Android devices. You can download it today to catch all of the live action and archive footage of this game between the Fuel and the Komets.
Tied at 1. 11:52 to go in the third. Shots are 21-18 in favor of the Fuel. This period, 7-2 in favor of Indy. And the Fuel had that early power play. And even if you don't score, you can generate momentum, and they did that. And here the Fuel win the defensive zone draw and ice the puck. So Fort Wayne will have another offensive zone faceoff.
And certainly, Andrew, especially when you have a power play early, real important to get some looks, get some chances. And you're right. I mean, just because you don't score on a power play doesn't mean that you're not going to be able to derive any momentum from it. And they had some good opportunities. They had some great looks. No different than a block shot or a big hit where you're able to draw some momentum from it. Yeah, you like to score every time, but if you can at least get some chances, it's going to get everybody feeling a lot better about themselves.
Komets with a draw. Nick Boca's shot is deflected wide. In behind the net to Jackson Leaf. Hawkins behind the net, pops out the other side, sends it up to the point. Gazzola's shot forces Backlund to make a pad save, and Indy has transition the other way. Teixeira with Marcineau comes in across the line offside. And so we have a whistle with 11:01 to go in the third period of a 1-1 game.
Love the idea there by Matt Marcineau, the puck carrier in the middle of the ice. You don't want to skate into traffic where both defensemen are, but get the blue line and then move it wide and then drive the net to push those defensemen back, opening up some room for the puck carrier. And he passed it before he got to the blue line. That's a case where get the line, and then right when you cross over that little blue marker, then kick it wide so you can kind of negate the possible offside. That's really tough to do when you're moving at full speed, but I like the intention. I like the look on that last play.
Fuel win the draw at neutral ice, but Fort Wayne now has possession in its own zone. Puck lobbed to the Fuel line. Teixeira tried to give it to his D partner, Siebenauer. Headman's through center right to the tape of Harper across the Fuel line. Good poke check by Tim Shoup, but Harper gets it back. Beats the trailer. Gallipo who scores. Olivier Gallipo gives Fort Wayne a 2-1 lead, as Harper gained the zone and then fed the trailer. Gallipo right at the center point. He beat Bakala cleanly, and the Komets have a 2-1 edge.
Well, he was the trailer indeed, and he's coming off the bench. Harper using his speed wide, and then all of a sudden both Fort Wayne defensemen were going for a change. So the Indy Fuel wingers in your own zone, a winger has a defenseman. If all of a sudden you look up to the blue line and there's nobody there because they're in the middle of a change, you're kind of lost. You might not know exactly what to do. And Gallipo coming full speed off of his bench on a great pass from Harper, and you could see Antoine Waked there trying to slide out and block the shot. He was really deep, couldn't get out close enough to block it. And the on-rushing defenseman, Olivier Gallipo, who's had a tough game up to this point, finds a way to give Fort Wayne the lead.
Time of the goal is 10:09. Gallipo with the goal. Harper with the first assist. We'll wait for the official scoring to get you the rest of that. Fort Wayne, after the Fuel ice the puck off the faceoff, wins the draw. And Pochero fires on goal right off the draw, and back low with the glove save.
Yeah, Zach Pochero, that's a guy, 8 goals this year coming into this game. 8 goals on 25 shots. That's 32% scoring percentage. So that's a guy, I like to coin him a one-shot player. He really only needs one shot to find the back of the net, and a real good save there off of the clean win by Harper. And a set play off the draw where Pochero's just going to walk that top of the circle, the half moon, and fire it on, but Bakala with a real good glove snag.
The goal, Gallipo's second of the year from Harper, and Siebenal are at 10:09, gives Fort Wayne a 2-1 lead. And the Fuel in a position where they've been a lot this season, trailing in the third period. Pirog back to Martin at his zone line. Over to his D partner, Ryan Zulsdorf, playing his first game of the Fuel. Ahead to Malone, trying to one-hand it into the Fort Wayne end, and he takes a hit from Justin Vye for his efforts. The play was offside, and now Martinet comes in to let the guys in black and orange know that he did not like the hit on Malone. And cooler heads prevail after the whistle.
You gotta love to see Seamus Malone in having his hand in really every cookie jar tonight. The physical stuff, the chirping, offensive chances. He's used his speed through the neutral zone really well, including an opportunity on that last shift. I mean, I've been really impressed with what number 9 has been able to bring to this team. A real jolt of energy.
Check to force it free from McIver. Comes loose, turnaround attempt by McNicholas, but he fanned on it in the high slot, and A.J. Jenks will gain center red and fire it in. It hits that corner door. It drops right to Matthew Bowdens, who shoots with a screen in front from a sharp angle, and Bakala able to make the save and hold on for a whistle. 7:57 to go in the third period. The Fuel trailing 2-1.
Well, if there's one thing you know, that when you put the puck around the glass in the Indiana Farmers Coliseum, there's a good chance it's going to hit a stanchion. But the one thing you don't know is where the puck is going to bounce to. And there, I mean, it didn't even bounce in front of the net or behind the net. It just stopped and stayed in the corner and allowed Matthew Bowdens to be able to at least get a shot on the net. So if you're a goaltender in those situations, and Dan Backel and Billy Christopoulos, both the Fuel goaltenders, have seen plenty of pucks be rimmed around the glass, you're better off to just stay in your net and not try to venture behind to stop a puck, because if it hits a stanchion and the opposition's able to get control of the puck, there's going to be a wide open net.
Jinx wins the draw, but Nick Pirog gains possession for Indy, and Matt Marcineau wraps it in, and he takes a hit. He has the go-ahead goal for Fort Wayne in this game. Sent back into the Fuel zone. Until Fort Wayne's posture has changed since they have taken the lead. They're much more playing the 1-2-2 and clogging the neutral zone and just trying to keep the play in front. Here's Willie Raskop across the line offside. We have a whistle with 7:16 to go in the third period. The Fuel trail 2-1.
And I would expect them to continue to do so, Andrew, in a game where it's a real close one, 2-1. You don't want to be caught with 2 or 3 forwards up the ice and allow the Indy Fuel with an odd man rush back the other way, because we know all the Fuel need is one chance with the amount of skill and offensive threats that they have in their forward group, and you know that Fort Wayne knows that also. So I think that they're definitely going to try and sit back.
And we have a whistle and a hand pass as the Fuel brought the puck into the Fort Wayne zone, but it was gloved down into the high slot, and then Indy got the next touch.
And I think a way around that, when you got guys clogging the neutral zone, you got to find a way to get to the red line and then just dump the puck in. But don't put it to an area where you're just going to go after it aimlessly. Put it to an area where at least you can get it back, and at least to an area where you have another forward or two going towards. That's the only way you're going to beat a clogged neutral zone. Trying to stick handle and make passes through it, you're not going to get through a clogged neutral zone that way. It's got to be looking for those long plays and trying to get players with their speed in behind.
And that's where the Fuel generally have been pretty good, is using their speed. Puck chipped up to neutral ice by Fort Wayne. Gloved down by Chris Martinet, and then Cuglietta came over and got the next touch. So again, a hand pass is called. You can hand pass the puck in the defensive zone, but not in the neutral or offensive zones. And we've seen here in the last few seconds, one in the offensive zone and one in the neutral zone for the Fuel.
You know what, Andrew? I really like Diego Cuglietta at the center ice position. Just brings that dynamic, the skating ability. Also has a pretty darn good ability at the face-off circle as well. And his time he spent with the Texas Stars in the American Hockey League was well over 50% at the face-off circle. So it's a guy who you know is going to be able to win those important draws. But just having that speed aspect of it, especially in the defensive zone, being able to get from one spot to another quickly, certainly does him a lot of well. I've really liked him tonight in the middle of the ice.
Fuel win the draw at center, send it in behind the Fort Wayne goal. And it looks like we're going to have some penalties out of that little fracas right before the timeout, as our referee Kyle LeCun is going to send Nick Boca and Antoine Waken to the box. Anticipating these will be matching roughing minors. And, yeah, each team sending 4 players onto the ice. So we'll skate 4 aside. There's not been a whole lot of room 5-on-5, so if you're the Fuel, you need a goal here. 4-on-4 could be a little bit to your advantage.
Exactly. And in that last TV timeout, Doug Christensen had all of his players huddled around and trying to read his body language, just continuously and profusely was just throwing his hand and directing the guys towards the offensive zone as if to say, hey, we just need to get pucks in. And then he was holding up the number 1, holding up his index finger saying, hey, we just need one chance. One shot, one goal, we tie the game, but we need to get pucks in deep and find a way to recover them with how aggressive Fort Wayne has been, but especially with how they've been clogging up the neutral zone.
Willie Raskop, rink wide pass to Malone into the Fort Wayne zone along the right wing board. Lacus, big rebound comes out to Fort Wayne, and they'll bring it across the Fuel line. Harper over the far side. Pass doesn't quite connect, but Gazzola gets to it up top. Harper walks down Main Street, shoots, fought off by Bakala.
What a give and go there between Harper and Gazzola. Looking like the Harlem Globetrotters out there, and eventually Dan Bakala had to make a huge save on the shot.
Pirog cross-corner dump looking for Cuglietta in the left wing corner in the Fort Wayne end. Spins off of a check, does Diego, but loses the puck as he tried to shovel it up to the point to Martinet. It was picked off by Brodeur by Martinet. Looks to shoot, it's blocked in front, and the Fuel spray it out to center. Wake it on his horse, trying to get to it. Forces it into the Fort Wayne zone, but Marcus McIver settles it down, can't get it out. Taken by Pellick at the point, into the slot, over to the far side for a shot that is shut down by Lekes. Comes over to Shoop. Over to the far side, Raskop. Cycles it in behind the net. Pellet lets it go to Waken. Tries to take it out into the slot. Comes up top to Raskop. His shot is blocked. Loose in the slot. Raskop takes it back. It was Vive with a diving block. Raskop right circle shoots high. Tim Shoop has it to the left point. 3 minutes to go in the game. Pellick behind the Fort Wayne net. From his knees, tries to center. Comes to Waken. High slot. He can't get the turnaround shot off. And Bakla heading to the goal, but we have a penalty coming on Fort Wayne, a slashing minor, and the Fuel to the power play with 2:50 to go in the game.
Well, the whole sequence there for the Fuel created by the effort and the relentlessness of not ever stopping his feet from moving there by Antoine Waken. As you can see him doubled over, and rightfully so. What a shift. And he was the original player who put Blake Siebenaller under pressure, which then forced a turnover, and the Fuel could go to work. A couple good opportunities for Willie Raskop at the point. Couple shots were blocked. One went wide. The Fuel draw a penalty, all because of some hard work. 2:50 to go in the third. What an opportunity.
Justin Vive for slashing at 17:10. It's Vive's second penalty of the game. The Fuel to the power play for the 4th time tonight. They're 1 for 3. Indy 40 to go on the power play. We'll keep an eye as well on Dan Bakala to see if the Fuel maybe will go for a 6-on-4 in the second half of this power play. Puck's into the left wing corner, and it's chipped out of play off the glass by Nick Boca. And so the Fuel will get an offensive zone draw with 2:17 to go in the game, 1:28 on the power play, trailing 2-1.
Yeah, you got to think if the power play runs down to 40-ish seconds, right now you're at 1:28. If it gets down to 40, 30, then you look to pulling Dan Bakala. As you can see, Doug Christensen right now motioning towards Bakala. Keep your eye on me. Let me know when I'm going to call for you. I think if you continuously have possession of the offensive zone and you can keep that possession and you get to about 30, 35, 40 seconds left in the power play, then you look to pull the goaltender to try and make it a 6-on-4 situation.
Fuel win the draw. McNicholas behind the net. Up to the point for Willie Raskop. Catches it on the forehand. McNicholas up now to Lee, left point. Raskop. And the puck's it into the Fort Wayne end, into the left wing corner. Pellick tries to hold it in. Teixeira unable to. 7 seconds to go on the power play as Cuglietta takes it in his own zone. Headmans to center for Router. He'll send it in behind the net. Vive is out of the box. 6-on-5 now. 45 seconds to go in the game. The Fuel trail by 1. McIver behind his own net. Around to Siebenauer. Tries to play it further along the wall to Jackson Leaf. Comes up to Cuglietta at the point. We have a whistle and a penalty on the Fuel, a slashing minor.
Yeah, it's going to be on Seamus Malone. And he just hacked the stick of Jackson Leaf right out of his hands. He was trying to make a play along the boards to win the puck back, and instead of going under the stick and lifting up, he goes from up down onto the stick of Jackson Leaf, and he just ditched the stick after that. Clear penalty called, and now a timeout as the Fuel will look to try and draw something up with 36.2 seconds to go.
You had a minute of 6 on 4, had a couple of good looks, but unable to take advantage, and then you had insult to injury by taking a penalty yourself, and now what you've got to do is pull your goal. You win the draw, be able to get possession in the Fort Wayne zone so you can pull your goaltender so you can just get it to 5 on 5 with 36 seconds to go in the game, down by 1.
And Doug Christensen has his guys out on the ice all huddled up looking to maybe run a play here. And this might be a play where you try and win the draw, but you keep a spare player kind of on the weak side of the ice. So if the faceoff looks like it's going to be on the near side, so in Dan Backela's net to his left, maybe you put a player on the right side of the ice just so if that way, if you can win the draw, win it back to your defenseman and just sling it around the side of the ice to where there's less players. That way you can gain some possession, gain some time. Looking for that little release play. As Doug Christensen has a couple words with Dan Backela as he heads back to his net.
Matt Marcineau, Antoine Waken, Willie Raskob, and Keone Teixeira out there for Indy. Jenks to take the draw for Fort Wayne. Komets on the power play with 36 seconds to go in the game. And Marcineau wins the draw cleanly back to Teixeira. He'll rim it around. And again, the Fuel can clear the puck without icing it. He sends it all the way down. And Backela's out of the net. So we're 5 aside. Into the left wing corner, Marcineau to Pirog. Tried to send it goalward, knocked down by the Komets. Gallipo behind his own goal. Tied up by Waken. Marcineau takes the puck, tried to rim it around, but there was nobody home. 13 seconds to go. Raskob at center. Over to the far side for Waken. Pass doesn't connect, but Pirog gets to it, tries to push it into the slot, but it's played out to center by Fort Wayne. Teixeira takes it. His pass is knocked up into the Fort Wayne bench as the horn sounds, and the Fuel have now dropped 5 of their last 6 as they fall 2-1 to the Fort Wayne Komets. Indy now, we mentioned 1-4-1 in their last 6 games. A well-played game tonight, and Indy just unfortunately unable to come away with a point in the standings as Olivier Gallipo's goal in the 3rd period ends up being the difference as Fort Wayne wins its 5th consecutive game.
Well, a real creative face-off play in their own zone there. And because they were killing a penalty, they were just trying to ice it and send their quickest player from stop to start. And Antoine Waken just flew up the ice once the Fuel were able to actually win the draw. And they just bulldozed that puck north, and Antoine Waken was trying to gain possession deep in Fort Wayne zone, and really nothing materialized of it. So you like at least the creativity and the intention of that play late with trying to pull the goaltender. Some good things, some not so good things, but we'll get into those in the post-game. Tough game tonight for the Indy Fuel as they drop 2-1 effort against Fort Wayne.
Yeah, solid game for Indy, but unfortunately not the results we would have liked to have seen if you were a Fuel fan as they fall 2-1 to Fort Wayne. Post-game show comes up right after this. This is Indy Fuel Hockey. When this Fuel team kind of went on a big run and had a 5-game winning streak and then a 6-game winning streak, that we said you need to bank points because you're going to hit that point in the year where you have some injuries, you have guys get called up, the puck doesn't bounce your way, you hit a couple of posts, you have a seeing eye shot find the back of the net against you. You have a bad game like the Fuel did against Wheeling on Tuesday. You're going to have that point in the year where things just don't go your way. And the Fuel have kind of hit that patch. It's their first, once counting the overtime loss against Kansas City, it's their first 3-game losing streak of the season. They're 1-4-1 now in their last 6. And, they've not played poorly. They've had a couple of games that got away from them. They've really not played poorly in this stretch. It's just, with the exception of those 2 games, it's just been a couple of games that just bounces haven't gone their way or something. That one extra play that was going Indy's way early in the season hasn't been, but that's why you bank those points so that you can get through this rough patch in the season, and the Fuel still sitting in pretty good spot right now, just 2 points out of first place.
31 games played this year, 21 wins. I mean, I would take that every day of the week, and I'm sure the Indy Fuel players and staff and fans would do the exact same. And I mean, the season's too long to get hung up on stretches where things are not going great. And I don't think it's for a lack of effort. You look at the last couple games they have, the 8-1 loss against Fort Wayne, and then you lose 6-0 last game to Wheeling. I mean, this was not one of those games. I mean, very well could have been 2-1 in favor of the Indy Fuel tonight if they would have been able to capitalize on a couple opportunities. And I thought some real positive nights from guys like Mike Lee and Ryan Zulsdorf. I mean, what a monster game for his first game since January. I mean, really uber impressed with the defensive game, but also his puck handling and passing ability coming out of the zone. Thought was really, really strong for Ryan Zulsdorf. And, of course, Antoine Wake. I mean, that's just a guy, he brings it every game. I mean, there's never not a game where he's not continuously moving his feet in a furious pace. And I thought a real nice game as well for Seamus Malone. 3 shots on goal, 2 penalties. I thought he was really active, not just carrying the puck and being offensive, but active in the physical and verbal actions after the whistle. So you like to see that from players who are more on the team, to create offense and be skillful. But when those guys are in the heat of the battle and they're really feeling it, that's when you like to see. So, yes, they lose 2-1. But I think a lot of positives to pull out of this game, especially some real good opportunities on the power play as well.
And you look at good opportunities on the power play. Michael McNicholas scores tonight. And you're doing this without 2 of your top 6 forwards, Spencer Watson and Jared Thomas. They've kind of been in and out of the lineup here in recent games as they've been nursing some injuries and held out tonight to allow them to heal a little bit more. And I think that's another thing that Doug Christensen is trying to take advantage of this part of the schedule where Indy's in a 2-week stretch where they don't have any back-to-back games. They're playing every second night, every third night, more of an NHL-style schedule. Not this year, but a traditional NHL-style schedule where you play every other night and don't play a lot of back-to-backs. And so I think he's using this as an opportunity to rest some guys and to allow some guys to heal up, to gear up for that stretch run where the schedule is going to get really busy really fast here starting next week when they go to Wichita and then Kansas City for 4 games in 5 days to start a 7-game road trip. And that road trip will continue with a 3-3, a weekend series in Fort Wayne to conclude in a couple of weekends. But I think a lot to like tonight out of this game. It's just one of those where, you're going to face these guys 20 times and you're going to have a lot of 1-goal games and you're going to get some and they're going to get some. And it feels bigger because you're in kind of one of those funks right now where you're not winning games as much. And the Fuel have gone now 7 periods without a 5-on-5 goal. And they got shut out. The 1 goal tonight came on the power play. But they've done good things 5-on-5. It's just sometimes you just don't find the back of the net. And that was kind of the case tonight. The bounce doesn't go your way or the other team's goaltender plays really well. But it was a good bounce-back game for this Fuel team.
Exactly. The effort was there. Attention to detail, especially in their own zone. A little bit of a rocky start in the first period, but I thought as the game went along, they were a lot better managing the puck in their own zone, trying to break out as cleanly as they could. And I thought they handled the Fort Wayne forecheck tonight better than they have in any other game prior, because we know they like to come with their speed. They love to use their side to get in and crash and bash and bang bodies. But I thought they handled the forecheck extremely well, and when Fort Wayne started to clog up the neutral zone, probably 11, 12 minutes in that third period when they were able to establish the lead, I thought the Fuel, it just took them a while to get going. It took a little while to figure out how they're going to break that down. And eventually, you had some good looks. You had a late power play with under 3 minutes to go where you had some great chances. Doug Christensen pulls Dan Backel, the goaltender, to have a 6-on-4 situation, and then eventually to a 6-on-5 when the penalty expires. And then Seamus Malone takes a slashing penalty trying to battle for the puck. So you had opportunities, just not able to capitalize. And for as well as this season has gone for the Indy Fuel this year, it seems like everything has gone right. You're going to go through stretches of 5 games or 6 games or 7 games where things just don't go your way. And as long as you're not playing poorly or turning the puck over every time the puck's on your stick or getting blown out every game, I wouldn't say you could be satisfied with that, but it's certainly something that you can build off of and say, hey, we did a lot of good things in this game. Well, why can't we make those positives and turn them into even better things next game and turn missed chances into goals? So like I said, and like you said, Andrew, a lot of things to like. Just some bounces didn't go their way, and I think that they can hang their hat on a good effort in this game against Fort Wayne.
Let's go over the scoring summary. Michael McNicholas got it started, 2:25 into the game for the Fuel from Mike Lee and Matthew Thompson on the power play to make it 1-0. And that's where we stood through one. A.J. Jenks tied it up with Fort Wayne on the power play from Hawkins and Gazzola at 2:21 of the second. And then Olivier Gallipo wins it for Fort Wayne at 10:09 of the third, his second of the season, from Stephen Harper and Blake Siebenaller to give Fort Wayne the 2-1 victory. Shots on goal, 25-24 in favor of Indy, 11-8 in the third period, but the Komets get the only goal of the period. The Fuel were 1 for 4 in the power play tonight. Fort Wayne was 1 for 3 with the man advantage. They continue their red-hot power play. Now the last 7 games, they're 11 for 28. That's just a shade under 40%. You're clicking on the power play like that, you're going to win a lot of games, and they're now 8-0-1 in their last 9. That one overtime loss came here to Indy earlier a couple weeks ago, back on February 26th. So for the Fuel now, you get a couple of days off while your competition on Sunday, Wheeling, has to play twice, as Fort Wayne will head to Wheeling the next 2 nights. And so now you've got one of those opportunities where the schedule maker kind of hands you an advantage, and that's going to happen. And the Fuel have been on the wrong side of some of those. They've been on the right side of some. The schedule maker kind of handed you an advantage here. You're facing a team that is going to be at the back end of a 3-3, the back end of a 4-6, and you're going to have had opportunity to rest. They're coming into your building on Sunday, and it's a team that took it to you. Beat you 6-0 on Tuesday night. There's no secrets, as these two teams have played a lot. But you look forward to that game against Wheeling, and you try to take advantage. But I think the key in that game is going to be getting off to a good start. We mentioned today the Fuel got off to a 1-0 lead. That was key, but Fort Wayne was able to control play for a good stretch as the first period. The key in Wheeling on Tuesday, the Fuel did not get off to a good start. It was a shooting gallery for the first 5 or 6 minutes of that game, and so I think you want to get off to a good start on Sunday, and especially against what's going to be a tired team, put them behind the 8 ball. But a lot to build on from tonight, where you can regroup, you can take a couple of days to rest, practice, and get ready for Sunday.
And a team, the Wheeling Nailers, that is, who will have played Saturday night, and then they got to turn around and play Sunday afternoon at 3 o'clock. So, I mean, the Fuel have found themselves in those situations this year, and how tough that is as a player to have to come back to the rink in 14 or 15 hours and try and play a highly competitive game again. And look, don't get me wrong, the Fuel have had the Nailers number this year. They've really taken it to them, despite, last game where Wheeling was able to pretty much, for lack of a better term, wipe the floor with the Indy Fuel. But this Wheeling Nailers team, they've come a long way since the beginning of this season, where they were young, they were raw, they were still trying to find their way. But now they've started to find the way that they play, and they have some skill. But their motto is the work ethic. They're not going to be outworked, and they're going to try and rely on that to win them games. And at least if they're not going to win the game, keep them in games, keep them competitive. So this is a much different team, the Wheeling Nailers, than what we saw even just a month ago. So, they've really started to turn the corner and become a pretty darn competitive team in this division. And as I said a couple weeks ago, they're doing their very best to climb the stairway to heaven from the basement of the Eastern Division. So it's going to be a tough game, but you can take advantage. If you're the Indy Fuel, you can take advantage of the next couple days. Watch video. Go over some things in practice. Maybe make some adjustments for Doug Christensen. Though I don't think you needed to go crazy, because it's not like they were dominated tonight. Again, good things to build off of, but some things you certainly want to work on in your own zone, just to touch those up going up against a Wheeling Nailers team who, yes, they're going to be tired, but playing with a lot of confidence as of late.